Do you know that average person loses around $10,000 per day scrolling on TikTok? Genuinely believe, I'm not exaggerating, we're going back in history when the society was divided by kings and peasants. I don't see how the income inequality problem will be solved. So a lot of people who are currently experiencing misfortune, they were fired, they couldn't start business or couldn't find job. I genuinely believe that things will not get better or easier. And this is not your mistake. It's just how fast the world is moving and how slow the people are adapting to these changes, right? And I understand. I can empathize why so many people don't want to learn AI. Because you're not geek, right? You're not geeks. You don't really care about this software, these changes, these systems, these AI agents. You don't really care about automation. You just want to chill. You just want to have your secure job. You have to have your very expected earnings this year. You want to know exactly how much taxes you're going to pay, when you're going to get paid, and etc. But life has become very, very busy. This is why you will see the concentration of wealth is increased. You will see that usually I have all the collection of Forbes magazines since back of 1989, 1980s, right? So I've screwed all of it. So I essentially read how the whole generational wealth has moved from one person to another. And every couple of years, you see different people are appearing in top 20, top 50, top 10. But for the last 5 years, the same people have remained on top. And these people are not losing their spot. Instead, they're actually getting wealthier and wealthier. What this means is that for the first time, we're having the same people are not losing their spot, they're not getting less wealthy, they're not retiring and moving away from business and somebody else which is currently more active replacing them, but instead we're seeing the same people actually double down. Elon Musk doubled down. The person who owns all this, the French billionaire who owns all these fancy brands, right, fashion brands, he doubled down, he didn't retire. And if you look back, the people who are wealthier, let's say in 2000s, Bill Gates, he retired, he stepped down, somebody else replaced him. The guy who owned Zara, he was the richest person in 2003, 4, 5, right? He stepped back, he scaled down operation, he focused on his life, not so much to business, right? There was a Mexican billionaire, right? He was also 2-3 years every time, first place, second place, third place. So you always get some switch. This year we had Larry Ellison from Oracle. For 1 day or 2 days, he was the richest man alive. But the concentration of wealth is in direct correlation with the AI development and how the economy is more and more related towards the technology. If before some portion of the GDP or the gross domestic product or the infrastructure or the businesses started in particular niche was kind of divided more or less equally. You had a lot of people starting and working in real estate, being on the developer side, being on the sales side, and also you got a lot of people, a lot of services that surrounded this business. Then you had a lot of people who were working in normal service jobs, right? People were happy. A lot of these jobs, little by little, especially now in 2026, will disappear. A lot of which already are gone in 2025. So this led a lot of people to adjust. The only decisions that they could do is to adjust. And adjusting is not easy. This is why, like I said, if people do not adjust, do not learn, they will be left in an old system where there were kings who had all the material possessions, all the power, they made the rules, and everyone else who didn't have all that, who didn't adjust, who didn't build his own small empire or small kingdom, or who didn't relocate elsewhere, he stayed at the same exact spot. Well, this effectively meant that the world back then was divided by kings and peasants. And if no one in this current environment, economic system, don't want to learn the new skill, Like I said, I'm not judging you, not forcing you. I understand how annoying it is to move from your whatever you was doing prior to go online and start learning all the geeky stuff, all the different chatbots, all different systems, what kind of softwares. Not to mention that there is a bunch of hacks that are currently reappearing. The systems are reinforcement learning, and also the hackers are utilizing all the noobs who are just beginning to learn all these systems. So, not overhyping, not over sensationalize the situation, but if you expect things to go back, you're in a bad luck, because the corporations will like the savings on the employment side. The government will like the speed of how job is done. Everyone, usually who receives service that before was taking a couple of months to be done, now it will get very, very fast. If prior, let's say on the simple framework, let's say you buy a home and you have to change titles, and if the old model will require manual checking all the history of the property, now the AI will pull up the files and will do evaluation and will do all the necessary stuff probably in 1 hour. Like, this is the positive side, right? All the I'd say very human consuming and pretty manual work will simply be limited, which is kind of a only benefit you can think of. Question is, will the life become cheaper or more expensive if we exclude the actual inflation, money printer, and so if you just focus on the AI automation? This is what a lot of people are talking about, universal basic income. But when you think about it, right, if you start with certain amount, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, people will want more. And every single year they want more. It's almost like these pensions that people receive in Europe, where for every holiday you get a bump on your pension. Like, you have Thanksgiving, you have what was it? I forgot what was celebrations in Europe, but for Christmas they got bump. You got additional money on top of your normal monthly allowance from your retirement. And this particular system is designed to adjust on an annual basis with the rate of inflation. It's called the Swiss rule. So I don't really see the solution over here unless everyone gets at least on a basic operational level knowledgeable to use AI, and then the life kind of can keep moving forward in the same system. Because I still see people, during the week waiting on the ATMs to deposit their pay, right? It's crazy. People still wait on the ATMs. Like, you already get paid with the checks, so you can take a picture and deposit your money. It's really outdated systematically. A lot of things have taught a lot of people to live in the same way for a very long period of time. No one has, in fact, taught them that things could be done differently. And innovation, and the last adopters of innovation usually is the people who are losing the most. The people who are last to decide, okay, I am going to learn AI. It's already gonna be late, G. Average person spends around 2.5 hours per day scrolling on TikTok. That's around 912 hours every single year. And that's enough for a lot of people to change professions, obtain licenses. They can become pilots, they can become dentists. You can change your life, but instead people are actually scrolling on TikTok. Let's run even more numbers so you can understand the concept over here. Not realizing why so many people who are scrolling and brain rotting all day, every day, are actually the most broke people out there. Don't tell anyone. Look at this. If you just spend one of those 912 hours per year doing something else, you can go and enroll in pilot's license. You can learn how to fly the seaplane, these planes that land into the water. You can go and obtain the private pilot license. You can go and obtain a captain's license. You can buy a boat. You can learn how to sail. You can learn how to ski. You can become a ski instructor. There's so many different cool things or professions that you can actually learn. Not seeing So many people complaining and crying over here on TikTok, on the feed. I got fired. I submitted so many applications. No one is hiring me because people applying for the same fucking job. Guys, you have to look someplace else. Obviously, this position, this job, this industry is finished. AI has taken over. Second point over here. This is just 1 year. What if we go and multiply the same exact years for, let's say, the period of 5 years? You can definitely become a lawyer in 5 years instead of spending time scrolling. Not to mention that there's some people who claim that in California you can actually become a lawyer without going to school. Someone said that. Don't quote me on this. But the main concept is that people learning the basics. A lot of people before just go home, go on Netflix, Disney, whatever, used to watch particular shows, series, go to sleep, and rinse and repeat. Now a lot of people work all day, they go home, scroll on TikTok for like 2-3 hours. Maybe while they're making the meal, during eating the meal, probably even after the meal, they keep scrolling and they spend a lot of time for entertainment, which I understand. Sure, anyone from time to time needs to spend some time, watching some crazy nonsense, bullshit content. But a lot of people spending the full time online doing this. And here is the $10,000 example in which we started with. This is not coming from thin air. We're not coming up with numbers over here. We're not only losing the $10,000 a day. Effectively, it's $348,000 over a decade. And that's maybe half house, maybe down payment plus some other if you live in more expensive area, or maybe you can buy a full house if you live in an area where houses are not so expensive. And just think about it. Some people are losing more money at home scrolling than they earned throughout the day on their day job. Look at this. That's, if you break down by day, you effectively could be losing around $95, which, depending on the person, how many hours, some people spend more than 2.5 hours. The calculations were based on 2.5 hours, which is based on study. So if you spend more time, you actually lose more money. If you spend less time, you lose less money, which again, kind of makes sense. And this is why probably Gary Vee is pushing so many people who are already on TikTok just to go out there and start, this tele-shopping business, full-time live shopping services, which honestly I don't support. But if you spend your time on TikTok anyway, you might as well make some money out of it, right? At least you're gonna reduce your losses over here just by judging time spent. But again, it sounds crazy, but the opportunity cost, which is doing TikTok versus anything else, is compounding. Think about a friend or someone who you followed online, or some of your colleagues who started a business after the virus situation. This is like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So this time spent, you not taking action versus the person that who took action, who started a business, or who changed careers, or who become something that they weren't prior the virus situation. It's the opportunity cost, and the opportunity cost is much higher than the cost of taking risks. The cost of, people usually said you have some savings, right? The right thing is to protect them and not taking risk, or be very careful, because this way you're not going to lose money. Not saying that doing nothing with your money, just being in the bank, you still lose money effectively. So this is something that you should think about. In action, it's also in most cases wrong decision. This is why it's so complicated. People usually pretend to be the binary choice between two options, one of which always going to be the right one, and the other one always going to be the wrong one. And that's completely wrong. There's so many different options, and one of these options might fit more towards your final goal, and the other one might fit more towards something else. Let's say you want to become, let's say you want to become rich. That's why you go to study economics or business or finance. That looks like a right decision, right? But then halfway through you realize I can become rich by doing something else which I like more. So the first decision that appeared on the surface to be the right one and will be the one that will get you to the end goal was not the one that you actually end up taking. And this is something that a lot of people do not understand. There are many ways that you can get things in the right way, and you can screw your path to success in many different ways. How many people have essentially ruined their careers by just making the wrong turn? Trying to, let's say you're a singer or you're an actor and you decide to launch clothing brand or some bullshit product where people saw that like bad quality, bad reviews, no one liked it. You essentially ruin everything that you have built previously. Similar case with a lot of people who launched their crypto fake scam projects. They built up their career on something, right? Whatever, they got popular because they did like good analysis or predictions about the markets, people trusted them, and they essentially capitalized on it.